So now let's talk about emotional addictions right now, because that is something that's really important. And here's where the magic happens, okay? So in our brain, we have bazillions of neurons, okay? These things called neurons. And science has proven that we create structure with these neurons based on our thoughts. So we structure these neurons based on our thought system, on our belief system, okay? We are wiring our own brains. You are your own neurosurgeon here, okay? You are wiring your own brain, all right? And you are wiring it with your beliefs and your perceptions of life, okay? So if you think negative thoughts, now listen carefully here. If you think negative thoughts, the neurons that relate to pain and misery, let's say you're thinking about something all painful and misery and you're kind of in victim mode. So let's talk about victim mode, okay? So I hate that word victim, I really do, but it's a thing. So we're in victim mode, pain, everything happens to me, blah, 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 okay? So, so you relate to pain and misery, and all of those neurons that relate to pain and misery start to join together inside your brain, okay? And they wire themselves into a pattern of negative thinking. Okay, so this is what's happening in your brain, all right? Then those neurons send messages to your hypothalamus, okay? And the hypothalamus is your chemical manufacturing center, okay? It's your factory for chemicals, okay? So the hypothalamus recognizes your victim thought, because your hypothalamus doesn't really care. It just is getting the command and it's going to do what you tell it. It's not like, oh, no, let's not think that today. Like, it doesn't do that, okay? So it's going to do what you tell it to do, all right? So the chemical manufacturing center, the hypothalamus recognizes that you want victim mode, okay? And this manufactures these chemicals called peptides. And these peptides, for this particular command, let's just call them the victim peptides, okay? So the victim peptides are then released, okay? Then they're released into the body, and they reach the body, and there we start to experience our painful feelings, okay? So we start to experience our painful feelings. Now, the cells in our body, they receive the chemicals and it starts to hurt. Okay, the cells start to hurt. Okay, we can literally feel the pain in our body. All right. The more cells that get these particular chemicals, this composition of victim peptides, the more that they get addicted to them. Our cells are very highly addicted to whatever chemicals that we send it, okay? So now they're getting flooded with these victim peptides, and they're like, like a little drug addict, a junkie. They want more, okay? They want more, all right? So every cell in our body is an addict, and that is a fact. And they're unconditional. They don't really care what you're feeding it, right? But whatever chemicals you're feeding it, it wants it, okay? Whatever chemicals you are feeding it, it wants it. Doesn't care. Like a junkie, right? Give it heroin today, give it ecstasy tomorrow, give it LSD the next day. You know what I mean? Doesn't care. Just give me whatever, right? So the cells are the same. They are highly addicted to the chemicals that we are producing through the hypothalamus, okay? So cells are unconditional. They don't care, and they get addicted to those chemicals, whether they are good chemicals or whether they are bad chemicals. Do you see where I'm going yet? All right. So they call out for more peptides that they are hooked on. So the cells start saying, give me more. Give me more of that. Okay. So all of a sudden we feel crappy for no reason. So we just get up and we feel crappy. Nothing even happened. And we feel crappy and we don't know why. And it's because the cells are now calling for this drug, this victim peptide. It wants it, right? So it's like, bring it on. I like that, right? So it starts getting, it wants it, okay? So then you start feeling crappy all the time. So then we think about why we feel this way. Okay, so why am I feeling crappy? Right? So that's our next thing. So then you start to remember, oh, this happened to me, and because that happened, and then this is happening. And, you know, we start to spiral into a depression, and this whole vicious cycle starts all over again. Okay, so now you're like, why do I feel crappy? Oh, yeah, because of this and because of that. And the whole thing begins again. All right. So every time a cell divides now there's the cell that's dividing, because our cells divide, right? So every time a cell divides, it has more and more receptors formed to that particular peptide. So as that cell that's flooded with the victim peptide divides, now we've got more cells that are formed with the victim peptide in it, okay? And it wants it, okay? So if you've ever been in victim mode for a really, really long time, your cells reproduce and they are geared to receive more and more of those, of that drug, of that victim peptide. Okay, so that's what's happening. So then you spiral into that depression, okay? Or you spiral into, you know, depending on how severe it is, it's like, remember, there's energy in all of these atoms, right? And you're filling it with these chemicals. And that is now in your body, and your body is starting to feel pain, and you're getting things like fibromyalgia and cancer and MS and depression and mood disorders and things. And this is what's happening, and this is how it happens, okay? So you feel awful mentally, emotionally, physically, right? Now, let's throw in the law of attraction. Now that we understand what's happening in our body, let's just throw in the law of attraction, because like that's not enough, okay? So the law of attraction senses what we're feeling, and it starts emitting it, these thoughts, these negative thought patterns, into the ether, into the universe, into energy, okay? So what we emit, we draw more and more of, because the frequencies and vibrations of these thoughts patterns, okay, of this negativity has frequency and vibration. And what happens out in the universe is that in energy, like vibrations and frequencies attract to each other like a magnet. Okay, so now you're pulling out of the collective and out of everywhere, you are pulling more of those negative, of just those, whatever you're emitting, okay, of those, that frequency and vibration. So we're going to stick with the victim mode. So you're pulling out more of those victim mode frequency and vibrations out of the universe. So like what you're doing seems to be not enough. So let's pull in some more from, you know, other places. Okay. So we think more and more negative thoughts. We get addicted to anger. We can be addicted to grief. We can be addicted to despair. We can be addicted to these emotions. Okay. And anything else that doesn't serve us. All right. You become like you're in bondage. All right. You're in bondage at this point. All right. You're like your own S&M. You're like your own sadist and your own masochist all rolled up into one. Okay. So no one does this to you. You did this to yourself. So I know we blame our parents and we blame people for stuff, but no one did this to you. You absolutely 100% did this to yourself, okay? There's only so long that we can ride the parent, my mom and dad did this to me train. My parents were horrible. I grew up in a dysfunctional family. There is really only so long that you can ride that train, okay? Honestly. You know, but I still hear people that are saying this at 40 and 50 and 60 years old, okay? So it's way past their responsibility, way past their responsibility, okay? We have the power, each one of us has the power to turn all this around. So all of what I've stated is true for all emotions. So if you can be addicted to anger, and you can be addicted to despair, and you can be addicted to grief, you can also be addicted to joy, and you can be addicted to happiness, and you can be addicted to love, and you can be addicted to very good emotions as well. It all works the exact same way, okay? They're just different chemicals, but our cells will become addicted to those chemicals, okay? So it all works in exactly the same way. So our emotional reality is reflected physically in our brains. Now, The work that you have to do is to undo the damage that you have done. It can be done. You had so much power. You did this to yourself. You do have the power to undo this to yourself. You may need help to do this. Okay. You know, that's what I do with people, because we're so wrapped up in our own, like, how do I even begin to fix this? Right. So where do I even start? Because just saying a few positive things is not going to change this. So people start ranting affirmations and they say them, and yeah, they'll do a little bit of change, but they're not going to, like, those beliefs have been in there for a long time. So it's going to take you a really long time to change them all back to what you want them to be. Okay. So this can take a very long time, or to do on your own, or you can let someone like me who knows how to do this really quickly facilitate that rewiring with you. All right. So I don't do things to you. I work with you. We're a team. Okay. We work as a team. We do this together. All right. Because you have all the power. Okay. I can't make you do anything. You have all the power. All right. I just show you how to use your power. All right. So the more positive and loving feelings that can be had, it begins to change the wiring in the neurons in your brain. The more beliefs that we can change to positive beliefs for you begin to change the wiring in your brain. Okay. So we have to change what your cells are addicted to. Basically, that's what it comes down to. We have to change what your cells are addicted to. We have to change your belief system. We have to change your intentions. We have to change and release triggers. Okay. There's a lot of damage that you may have done with all of your negative thoughts to get you into this spiral, to get you feeling it in your body, to get you feeling it mentally. Okay. So all of a sudden, everything in your life begins to change. All right. The way that your brain is wired creates your new reality. So as we rewire things, your new reality starts to come out. Okay. The power is within you. I want you to say that. I want to tell you that the power is within you. So let's talk about some different therapies that people go to. So they go to talk therapy. I do not believe in talk therapy, and I will tell you why. Not because I don't do it. I do talk to my clients, but we are more solution-based. I don't want my clients, nor do I let them harp on about positive or past negative trauma, because why? What I just said, okay? They're re-traumatizing themselves, and then they're feeding all of that, and the hypothalamus is then feeding the chemicals in, and they're throwing that out into the law of attraction. When we say something, when they sit down and they talk to a therapist and they're telling about their whole lives, and this happened to me, and then this happened to me, and then this happened to me, you are not reporting the news. Okay. You are creating your reality. We are creators. That's what we do. We create all the time. Okay. So Joyanne is saying that she's been unraveling the damage for 3 years. Okay. I work with my clients and we're doing it in 10 to 20 sessions in a few months. Okay. So and then even then there's stuff that they have to do, but at least then I taught them how to go on about it. We unravel the biggest part of the damage. And then I've taught my clients how to keep it going, how to keep doing it. Okay. The next thing, so talk therapy, we're talking. We keep creating the reality. All right. So I don't let my clients talk about stuff. Like, even when they come in for consults, I'm like, give me some headlines. I don't want to know what Uncle Bert did to you over and over and over again. Just tell me that it happened. I don't need to know any more than that. Okay. I don't need to know every second of your life. And then this happened, and then that happened, and then this happened. I will not let you do that. Not in my clinic. I will be like, no, stop. I don't want to talk about it. Right. So we don't want to talk about that, because that is not what I want for you to keep doing to yourself. Okay. The reason why you come is to stop. Okay. So talk therapy to me, unless it's solution-based. Okay. So I'm very solution-based when I talk with clients. Okay. So got it. Now this is what we're going to do now. So it's more solution-based. We're planning what we're going to be doing. Okay. We're getting the subconscious to buy in. We're putting your intent in there. We're working with your power of self-healing. There's a lot happening that we're not talking about, all that stuff that happened in the past, because we can't change it. Okay? So there's no sense in re-traumatizing you over and over again. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to change your consciousness. You need to change your consciousness to start changing the rewiring in your brain with your neurons. Okay? It's like when people say things like, my mother had cancer, my father had cancer, so I'm going to get cancer. That belief, you're wiring your brain to give you cancer. Only 1% of cancer is hereditary. They have already proven that. The rest of it is environmental, or we ask for it. Okay? You get what you ask for. Okay? And I will tell you that I did, Joyanne said that, okay, I've never been to talk therapy. I tried it. I did. When I was at that point in my life, before I knew everything that I know now, I tried talk therapy. I wanted to kill my therapist because I would always leave that session feeling angry and like shit. And there would be one more week that I wouldn't speak to people in my family. And then I would be like, all of a sudden, I start to calm down, come back down to reality a little bit. It's usually around day 6. And then I had to see them on day 7. So it's all going to start all over again. Okay. So I became suicidal from it. Okay. So I'm telling you that, talk therapy only works if it's solution based, because continuing to feed those beliefs by talking about them over and over again is not going to work. It's not going to work. They may teach you how to cope with things, and they might teach you how to handle things, but then that creates something called the beach ball effect, right? So the beach ball effect is when we start learning how to suppress things because we're coping and we're handling. So what we're really doing is we're suppressing, and we're pushing down all these beach balls, and we're pushing them down, and we're pushing them down, and we're pushing them down. And then all of a sudden, something happens that's really small, and pop, 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 the balls go flying, okay? And who is going to be the victim of your wrath? Usually the people that you love around you. And they may not have even been the reason for what you're feeling. And it was one small thing. They moved a plate from here to here, and you lost your shit because that was the one small thing that was going to send those balls flying. And then you look like you're absolutely nuts, and nobody knows why you're acting so crazy. Right? Sound familiar? I know I've done it. I put my foot through TVs. So I can tell you that it's a thing, okay? And it was over something so small, but it was just that buildup. Okay, and then I threw myself into victim mode, and the whole thing happened again. All right, so there are some crazy vicious cycles going on out there within us, and we're causing them ourselves. So it's time to stop pointing your finger at someone else. Always 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. So don't point at someone else. Don't blame someone else for your issues. Don't blame someone else for your problems, because you caused them all. That was the biggest pill I ever had to swallow in my life, was that I did that to myself. So if I did it to myself, I managed to undo it to myself. So if I can, you can. All right. But I didn't do it alone. I'll be honest. I got help, right? So I got help from the right kind of help, right? So it's up to you what you do. Is your life worth it to you to change your situation? So stop talking about how crappy your life is, and start creating the life that you want for yourself, because you do have the power to do that. Okay. One of the reasons that I use lots of tools. Okay. So I use lots of tools. I use applied kinesiology to speak to your energy in your body, so I know exactly what's wrong and exactly what needs to change. It's very quick how these things happen. It's amazing. Okay. Even the foods that you put in your body, what you're putting on your body, like all of these things. And if you are empath, or if you're psychic in any way, guess what? Those foods and those things that you're putting on your body are charged up with other people's negative energy, and you are absorbing them. Okay. So guess what? You're feeling a bunch of stuff that's not your own, and this vicious cycle is starting, and it wasn't even yours to begin with. So there are some things that you need to understand that are happening. All right. You need to understand how energy works. You need to understand the subconscious mind, okay? You need to understand your neurons, and you need to understand and accept what you've done to yourself. And when you can accept this, you will have peace, because when you know what you've done, you can undo it. Most of the time that we're sitting around going, I don't know what happened. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how. If we don't know how, then we don't know what to do to fix it, okay? But I'm telling you that you can fix it, all right? There's not many things that we cannot undo. If it's gone super far, like, you know, your 5th stage cancer, there are some things that still can be done to manage it, maybe put you back into remission, maybe, okay? I know I'm working with fibromyalgia, like off the charts, how that's working, right? So it works. CBD, right? That puts the receptors, those receptors that are in the cells. We have trillions of receptors in our body, right? The CBD is putting the receptors back into homeostasis, into harmony and balance, right? That's why when people take CBD, they feel like the anxiety is lifting from them. They're not feeling the pain in their body. So this CBD is helping physiologically through the body, okay? While the work that I do with people is working on their conscious and their brain and rewiring and their belief system, okay? So we're working at it from here, and you know, if my clients who will take CBD are working on it also as physiologically, and we're kind of coming at it from all angles and making the changes happen really fast, okay? So there's no excuse. There's no excuse, okay? If those of you that know me, I am not a coddler. I'm not like, oh, poor you. No, okay, not going there. There's enough people in your life doing that, okay? I am not going to be one of those people. I am going to get you through it. Right? So that's what I do, right? We are solution-based here. We are going to get you better so you can have the life that you want, okay? Because you deserve it. Because you deserve it, all right? You are worth it. You were not brought onto this planet to suffer. That was a choice that you made, okay? And this is how it happens. So now that you know this, sorry, it's a long video, but this is important information. So I didn't mean to go on this long about it, but it is important information to know. It's important information to know what you are doing to yourself, okay? Whew. So that being said, some of you, I'm sure, couldn't listen to this whole thing. It's early in the morning and you've had to go to work or whatever, but I do suggest that you come back and you listen to this, okay? It's important. And if you want some more help, if you want help with this, then reach out to me. If you want to, or someone that can do this for you, or you can choose to suffer. Like, honestly, it's your choice. No one can make you do anything, all right? It is your choice, but just know that you did it and you are responsible for you, okay? No one else. You control what happens to you. You decide what happens to you. You're not a victim. You've chosen to be that, okay? That was a choice that you made, so you can change it, okay? You did it, you can undo it. So you're welcome, Joyanne. So that's what I'm sharing with you this morning. Very important to know this. And if you are empathic, if you have any kind of psychic abilities, whether it's mild, moderate, or high, this is very important information to know for you, because you're not only affecting yourself with your own thoughts and your own emotions and your own energy, but you are also being influenced by those that are around you. So there are a lot of things that you need to know to make sure that you have some clear boundaries, okay? Again, you have the control. You do, okay? I am right between a moderate and a high psychic. I'm an intuitive empath, and I see people all day long, but I have some clear boundaries about what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. You know, what they can experience what they want, but I don't have to, right? So I have a deal working with my consciousness because I have put those beliefs in place that it's not mine, so I don't own it, so it's not going to affect me, okay? So you can do that too. You can lay the boundaries, all right? So that's my information for today. Any comments or questions, please share them. And thank you, Joyanne, for all of your comments and for sharing. And yeah, escaping the matrix. It is a matrix. It is a matrix, okay? No shit. It is a matrix. So yes, you can escape it. because you have full control of your own matrix. How about that? Okay. So I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.